Chosen one. Pause for a moment. This is not coincidence. This is not just another voice in the noise of your day. This is heaven pressing pause on everything around you. Because the Lord has chosen to speak to you directly. You have felt the tug before. The moments when something inside you whispered, "There must be more than this." The times when you couldn't explain why you survived what should have destroyed you. The times when people turned away but an unseen hand kept you steady. Right now is one of those moments, a divine interruption. Listen carefully. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to blend in. Even your struggles have been evidence that you are marked. You are set apart. The reason the storms in your life have been so fierce is because the light inside you terrifies darkness. You are a carrier of destiny. Think of it like a lighthouse built on a cliff. The winds beat against it. The waves crash at its base. Storms roll across the sea, yet the beacon continues to shine. Why? Because ships lost in the night need that one light to guide them home. You are that beacon. That is why the enemy has fought so hard to extinguish you. But heaven has stepped in. Angels are already moving. You were not forgotten. You were not abandoned. You were not overlooked. God has dispatched help. And He will not let the flame of your life be snuffed out before your purpose is fulfilled. You may feel weary right now. But hear me, your story is not over. In fact, it is just beginning. What you have endured has only been preparation for what you are about to step into. You are being rescued for a reason. It is written in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. That peace is for you. Chosen one. A peace that defies the chaos. A peace that no storm can steal. Heaven is pouring it into you right now. So here is what I ask of you. If you feel the weight of these words stirring your spirit, if you sense that this message is meant for you, then don't keep it hidden. Let it be known. Share this light so that others can find their way home too. Press that like. Share this word. Subscribe so you don't miss the flow of messages heaven is sending. And leave a comment below. Your response is an act of faith. Write it now. 77, a prophetic number. A sign that you receive this word and step into what God is unfolding. You might be thinking, why me? Why would God send angels for someone like me? Because He has always seen you. He saw you on the nights when you cried into your pillow, whispering prayers you weren't even sure. He heard. He saw you when people walked away. He saw you when you wanted to quit. Your scars did not disqualify you. They became proof that you survived what was meant to bury you. Imagine a seed buried in the dark soil. From the outside, it looks like death. But deep within, something is breaking, stretching, reaching upward. The soil that looked like a grave is actually the womb of new life. That is you. What you thought was the end has only been the beginning. Chosen one. God is not asking you to be perfect. He is asking you to respond. Even a mustard seed of faith can move mountains. The countdown of mercy has begun, and your yes today will echo for eternity. Do not delay. Do not scroll away. This is heaven's call to you. And maybe you are saying in your heart, but I don't feel strong enough. I've failed too many times. Hear this clearly. Weakness does not disqualify you. In fact, It is the very place where God shows his strength, the brightest. When you are empty, heaven fills you. When you are broken, the potter shapes you again. Think of a cracked jar. To the world, it looks useless. But when light is placed inside, the cracks become the very place where the glow shines out. That is you, chosen one. The very fractures of your past are now openings for God's glory to shine. This is why the angels were sent, not because you are flawless, but because you are valuable. You are a carrier of light, and heaven refuses to let the darkness win. So take courage, lift your head. This is your moment to step into what was always meant for you. The countdown has begun, yet grace is still here. You have always known deep down that you are not like the rest. There has been something different about you since the beginning. A mark that separated you even when you tried to blend in. You could walk into a crowded room, yet feel the weight of invisibility. People might overlook you, misjudge you, or even envy you without reason. And you've asked yourself more than once, why does it always feel like I don't fit? It is because you were not designed to fit. You were designed to stand out. The mark upon your life is a spiritual seal, one that announces to the unseen realm that you are chosen. Darkness recognizes it, even if you do not. That is why battles seem to find you. That is why rejection clings to your story. Not because you are cursed, but because you are called. Think of it this way. A diamond hidden in the dirt looks no different from a stone. Yet heaven and earth know the value of what is hidden inside. The pressures, the grinding, the cutting. These are not punishments, but the process of revealing what was already within. You are that diamond. Every pressure you have endured is shaping your brilliance. This is why the enemy has worked overtime against you. You carry something he fears. Your light disturbs his shadows. Even when you could not see your worth, it did. That's why the attacks came early in your life. Why pain touched you when you were still young. The adversary wanted to silence your voice before you realized its power. But here you are. You survived what should have ended you. That is proof enough. You are set apart. I want you to picture a field at dawn. All the flowers look the same in the dim light. But as the sun rises, one particular bloom catches the rays first and begins to open before the rest. That is you. You are awakening before others around you. And yes, that makes you different. But it also makes you necessary, because the ones who bloom first point to what is coming for the rest. You've been called strange, too intense, too sensitive. Yet what others labeled as weakness was God's careful design. Sensitivity is not a flaw, it is spiritual radar. Intensity is not a burden, it is fuel for the mission you carry. You are not too much. You are exactly as you were meant to be, shaped to carry what ordinary vessels could never hold. The Book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 27, declares, "The human spirit is the lamp of the Lord." Yes, your spirit burns as his lamp, even when people don't understand you, even when you feel overlooked. You shine in the darkness as proof that he marked you. And because you are chosen, you often walk roads others cannot understand. Loneliness follows you, not because you are unworthy of companionship, but because God has shielded you from voices that would dilute your calling. Rejection became protection. Closed doors became redirection. Even silence became a training ground where you learned to hear his whisper above all else. Think of a sculptor working with marble. Each strike of the chisel feels violent to the stone, but slowly a masterpiece emerges. The marble does not understand why pieces of itself are being chipped away. But the artist sees the vision that lies within. That has been your journey. You've lost people, opportunities, and seasons you thought you needed. But in reality, God has been shaping the masterpiece of your destiny. And though the weight of being marked has been heavy, it is also glorious. You carry within you a voice that will break chains, a presence that shifts atmospheres, a destiny that will ripple through generations. That is why the angels move on your behalf. That is why heaven refuses to leave you where you are. You are marked. Yes, but not to be crushed. Marked to be raised up. Marked to stand tall when others bow to fear. Marked to bring light where others only see night. Chosen one. You are not hidden from God. You are hidden in God. Until the appointed time for your unveiling. That time is near. And when that unveiling comes, it will not be subtle. It will be like the sunrise breaking through a storm. Sudden and undeniable. Those who doubted you will see the light you carry. Those who overlooked you will wonder how they missed it. And you will know it was never your strength that brought you here, but His hand guiding you through every valley. Chosen one. Your waiting has not been wasted. Heaven has been preparing a stage for your reveal. And the time is closer than you think. You have carried weight that few people know. The nights when sleep refused to come. The mornings when you rose with a heaviness you couldn't explain. And through it all, you still showed up. Still gave. Still endured. Chosen one. Your journey has been costly. You have walked through valleys of misunderstanding, where even those closest to you could not read the language of your pain. You've heard the whispers, why are they so different? Why do they seem so distant? They didn't realize you were fighting battles invisible to the eye. Every sleepless night, every tear shed in silence, has been seen. None of it is wasted. Heaven has recorded it all. Think of an olive pressed under weight. The crushing looks destructive, but from the pressing comes oil pure, costly, and precious. You are that olive. The crushing you have endured has only brought forth oil of anointing, and what once felt like punishment was actually preparation. The Word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Do you see it? Even in your lowest moments, you were never alone. The nearness of God wrapped around you like an unseen blanket. When others overlooked your breaking, heaven leaned in closer. Now hear this. What you survived has built a resilience that cannot be bought. You are stronger than you know. And your survival is a testimony that will set others free. This is why the angels have been sent, not just to pull you out of danger, but to lift you into the next stage of your calling. You will not remain in the shadows forever. And now, here is where you take part. I want you to pause and comment these words. New day begins. How? Why this phrase? Because by typing it, you are declaring the shift over your own life. You are testifying that the season of endless night is finished, and a dawn prepared by God is breaking open for you. When you write, "New day begins," you are telling your past, "You don't own me anymore." You are telling despair, "Your grip is broken." You are telling heaven, "I agree with your timing. I step into your light." How? Picture the horizon at sunrise. The darkness does not vanish because it decides to, but because the sun commands it. That is the power in your declaration. Darkness has no choice but to bow when light rises. So, don't treat these 3 words as casual. Let them be your banner. Let them be your cry of faith. Because when you say, "New day begins," you are aligning your heart with heaven's calendar, and nothing in hell can stop what God has set in motion. And maybe right now you are wondering, but how can a new day really begin for me? I still feel trapped. I still see the same struggles. I still carry the same wounds. Oh, chosen one. A new day does not start because circumstances instantly change. It starts because something inside of you shifts. Morning always begins while it's still dark. The sky is still heavy. The night is still present, but the first light of dawn has already broken through. That's you, even while battles remain. The light inside you has started to rise. The proof of it is this very moment. You're reading these words, and your spirit is stirred. That stirring is the crack of dawn within you. When you say, "New day begins," you are agreeing with heaven that darkness no longer has permission to define your timeline. The enemy wants you to measure your life by what you see, but God calls you to measure by what He declares. Think of the Israelites at the edge of the Red Sea. Behind them was Egypt's army. Before them was impossible waters. It looked like the night would never end. But in that very moment, God split the sea and made a way no one imagined. That was their new day. So too, with you, the Red Sea in your path is not a dead end. It is a setup for breakthrough. And don't underestimate the power of your agreement. When you declare new day begins, it is like unlocking a door that fear tried to keep shut. It's more than words, it's faith in action. Faith has always been like this. One step, one word, one declaration that shifts everything. When David faced Goliath, his victory began not when the giant fell, but when he declared, "The battle is the Lord's." End quote. So today, your giant may still be standing, but your declaration announces its defeat. Your morning is here. Even while shadows linger, let this truth settle. Your story is not defined by the night you've endured, but by the light that now breaks through. The dawn is unstoppable. The angels have been dispatched. They are not distant, abstract figures from ancient stories. They are real, present, and active. Right now, they move on assignment, carrying out what the Father has spoken concerning you. You may not see them, but their presence surrounds you like the air you breathe. How many times were you spared from danger without realizing it? How many accidents were avoided? How many attacks of the enemy were blocked? How many traps set for you never reached you? It was no coincidence. It was intervention. The Book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 11 proclaims, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." And this is not a poetic idea, it is a spiritual reality. Guarding angels are part of your journey, not because you are weak, but because your assignment is so valuable that heaven provides protection. Think of an ancient king sending royal messengers across dangerous lands. They did not travel alone. Escorts of armed guards surrounded them because the message they carried was too important to risk. In the same way, the message of your life, the calling stamped on your spirit, is so significant that angels are commissioned to ensure you reach the destination. Sometimes you may feel isolated, but you are never alone. The unseen company of heaven walks with you, even when you sit in silence, wondering if anyone notices your struggle. Angelic presence hovers nearby, keeping watch. And the mission of these angels is not random. 2 of them, in this very moment, have been sent to rescue you from the snares prepared for you. One stands as a shield, blocking the fiery darts of accusation and despair. The other walks before you, opening a path you thought was closed. There is a reason you are reading this now. Heaven's timing is precise. The angels do not move late. They move at the appointed moment. And this is that moment. Picture a battlefield at night. An army is surrounded, their enemies closing in. Then suddenly, reinforcements arrive, silent, swift, unstoppable. That is what happens when angels step in. The odds against you shift instantly because heaven has entered the scene, and their work is not only defense. Angels also bring strength. Remember Elijah, who sat under a broom tree, exhausted, wishing for death. An angel touched him and provided food, saying, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." That touch gave Elijah the strength to continue 40 days and nights. In the same way, heaven strengthens you for the path ahead. Many of your burdens have felt too heavy, but the angels assigned to you bring resources you cannot see. Renewed courage, divine clarity, unexplainable peace. Suddenly you find yourself standing again after seasons that should have crushed you. That resilience is not natural. It is supernatural assistance. Chosen one. Recognize what this means. Your life is guarded, your steps are guided, and your strength is supplied. The attacks that should have destroyed you only prove the value of your destiny. The enemy does not waste effort on those with no threat to him. The fact that you've endured so much opposition is confirmation of how much you carry. And still, heaven has not left you vulnerable. Reinforcements stand beside you. Think of your journey as a narrow bridge suspended high above deep waters. Alone. It feels impossible to cross, but angels walk with you, steadying your steps, holding the ropes, ensuring you make it across. That is what is happening even now. Though unseen by your eyes, do not mistake the silence of heaven for the absence of help. Even in silence, movements are taking place on your behalf. Angelic assignments are unfolding while you wait. Chosen one. Let this truth anchor you. God has already sent rescue. You are not abandoned to figure it out alone. Even now, unseen hands lift the weight from your shoulders. Unseen warriors fight battles you cannot fight, and unseen messengers clear a path you cannot yet see. Your story is safeguarded. Heaven has invested too much in you to let you fall. The angels are proof. God has no intention of letting you go, and though you cannot see them with your eyes, you will feel their effect. The sudden calm in the middle of panic that is angelic presence. The unexplainable escape from what should have been disaster that is angelic protection. The quiet strength that rises when you want to collapse that is angelic ministry. So walk forward with confidence. Every step you take is covered. Every breath you breathe is witnessed. Heaven has not left you unguarded. The angels are already in position. The countdown has begun. 21 minutes. That is what heaven has given you. A window of mercy. A divine pause in the story of your life. This number is not random. Every second carries weight. Time, after all, is one of God's greatest gifts. And once it passes, it never returns. That is why moments like this feel so heavy, because eternity is leaning into your present. Think of an hourglass. The sand falls grain by grain, and you can't catch it in your hands. Once it slips through, it's gone forever. Yet here you are, with sand still falling. You have breath in your lungs, purpose in your heart, and angels moving around you. The clock is not a curse, it is an invitation. The Word of God declares in the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11, the hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. This is the hour. The stirring inside you proves it. The angels are not waiting for tomorrow. They are on assignment today. Chosen one. You are not standing still. You are standing at a threshold. Behind you lies the season of wandering, of questioning, of delay. Ahead of you lies the season of awakening, of destiny, of clarity. And the clock counts down to your decision. Now, hear me clearly. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken you. The urgency you feel is not panic. It is love refusing to let you drift away. Mercy has a sound, and it is calling you now. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a wide river. The current is strong, carrying everything downstream. People rush past you, swept away by distraction, by fear, by emptiness. Yet in front of you, a bridge appears sturdy, waiting, leading to the other side. That bridge is Christ, and these angels are here to guide you across. But crossing a bridge requires a step, one foot forward, then another. No one else can walk it for you. And once you step, everything changes. This is why your yes matters now. Not later, not someday. Now, because the clock of mercy is still running, but it will not run forever. And while we stand in this holy moment, let me say this with simplicity. Think of a candle in a dark room, alone. It flickers quietly, but when other candles lean close, the flame multiplies. 1 becomes 10, 10 becomes 100, until the whole room shines. That is what happens when you choose to like, share, subscribe, or even sow a small gift of support. It is never forced, never demanded. It is simply passing the flame so that others lost in the night may find their way home. Even the smallest act matters. Just as a single drop of water can ripple across a still pond, your act of support creates waves you may never fully see. Someone across the world may encounter these words because you decided to keep the fire burning. Chosen one. Hear this clearly. Nothing is required of you. You are loved whether you give or not. You are chosen whether you share or not. But if your heart stirs to keep this light alive for others, then follow that stirring with freedom, like the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. What you place in God's hands is multiplied beyond imagination. One act of generosity becomes food for thousands. One candle becomes light for a multitude. Time is still moving. The sand continues to fall. But while it does, you have a chance to act, not out of fear, but out of love. This is the moment heaven has written for you. A countdown of mercy, a bridge waiting to be crossed, and an invitation to not only step into your destiny, but to help light the way for others. The angels are ready. The bridge is before you. The clock still ticks, and your heart already knows what to do. And when you step forward, something shifts, not only in you, but also in the unseen realm. Every act of faith is like a key turning in a locked door. The hinges move, the gate opens, and the path ahead clears. Angels respond. Heaven celebrates. The darkness that tried to chain you trembles, because your choice carries eternal weight. So, take heart. You are not late. You are not forgotten. This moment is proof that mercy still waits for you, and that heaven has invested in your tomorrow. The countdown is real, but so is grace. The battle over your soul is real. You may not see it with your eyes, but you feel it. Every time you try to step forward, resistance rises. Every time you resolve to change, distraction calls. This is not coincidence. It is war. From the very beginning, heaven has placed a seal upon you, and hell has tried to erase it. That is why your life has never been simple. That is why you have faced storms that others cannot understand. You are not cursed, you are contested. Think of a prized treasure buried deep in the earth. Thieves do not fight for worthless stones. They fight for gold, for jewels, for the crown hidden in the soil. In the same way, the enemy has fought for you because he knows the priceless value of your soul. But listen, the battle does not belong to him. The Lord has never left you unprotected. The Word of God says in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." And this promise is not for better people, not for the holier ones. It is for you. It is the reminder that even in the fiercest warfare, God is present. His presence does not remove the fight, but it guarantees the outcome. Chosen one. Can you feel it? You are caught in the middle of a tug of war. On one side, chains of fear, shame, and temptation. On the other, a hand of mercy stretched out, calling you upward. The struggle you feel in your chest is not weakness. It is proof that heaven has not let go of you. Imagine standing at the edge of a battlefield. Dus rises. Swords clash. You see two forces contending over the same ground. That ground is your heart. Every choice you make strengthens one side or the other. That is why the stakes feel so high. Why every decision seems heavy. And now, at this very moment, the angels stand ready. They are fighting for you, waiting for your agreement. Heaven never forces, it invites. God never chains. He calls, but your yes, your response, is the key that tips the balance. This is why delay is so dangerous. Every time you say, "I'll decide later," the battle drags on, and the enemy loves delay more than outright rejection, because delay lulls you to sleep. But heaven is sounding the alarm. The time is now. Think of fire on a hillside. If you try to stop it later, the blaze consumes everything. But if you respond immediately, the damage is contained, and the land is saved. That is what your response does. It stops destruction before it spreads further. Chosen one. Heaven has sent two angels to guard you in this exact moment. They stand beside you like watchmen on a wall. One blocks the accusations that say you're unworthy. The other breaks chains that tried to bind your spirit for years. But they are waiting for your answer. And here is how you respond. I want you to comment this number, 444. Why this number? because it is a sign of foundation and stability. Just as a house rests on 4 strong corners, so your destiny rests on the unshakable presence of God. By writing 444, you are saying, I plant my feet on solid ground. I choose not to waver. I stand in the strength of the Lord. Unquote. It may look like just a number on a screen, but in the unseen world, it is a declaration. You are aligning with heaven's foundation instead of the shifting sands of fear. And when you do, something breaks. Chains that held you for years will begin to loosen. Confusion that clouded your mind will start to lift. Peace, the kind that surpasses understanding, will settle over you like a mantle. Think of a fortress, strong walls, high towers, gates that cannot be breached. That is what heaven builds around those who choose him. By declaring 444, you are stepping into that fortress. So let it not be just a number, let it be your banner. The world may not understand, but heaven does. Angels record it. God receives it. The enemy trembles at it. The battle is fierce. Yes, but you are not alone. The presence of God surrounds you. The angels fight for you. And your decision today will echo into eternity. Chosen one. Stand firm. Lift your eyes. Write the number that seals your agreement. And know that you are guarded, protected, and destined for victory. There is a voice that whispers to you, subtle and persistent. It does not come with loud threats, but with quiet suggestions. Wait until tomorrow. You can deal with this later. You don't have to choose now. That voice is not from heaven, it is the whisper of rebellion. Rebellion does not always look like open defiance. Sometimes it hides beneath delay. Sometimes it wears the mask of procrastination. The enemy knows he does not have to convince you to say no outright. He only has to convince you not to answer today. And in that hesitation, hearts grow cold. Think of a garden. If a weed sprouts and you pull it up quickly, the soil remains healthy. But if you say, I'll get to it later, the weed multiplies. Its roots deepen, and soon it chokes out the good seed. Delay becomes destruction. This is why heaven speaks with urgency. Mercy does not last forever. Grace is abundant, but grace is also holy. It can be resisted. It can be neglected. And there comes a moment when the opportunity closes. Not because God desires it, but because hardened hearts no longer see or hear. The Word of God reminds us in the book of Hebrews, chapter 3, verse 15, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Notice the word today, not someday, not when it feels convenient. Today, heaven calls for a present response. Chosen one. The enemy wants to lure you into a false peace, a sense that there will always be time. But that is the oldest trick in his book. He knows tomorrow is never guaranteed. He knows hesitation is fertile ground for compromise. Think of Lot's wife. She was delivered from the city of destruction. But one glance backward, one act of divided loyalty, turned her into a pillar of salt. Her heart wavered, and hesitation cost her everything. The same danger lies in the whisper of rebellion. It does not always roar. It often murmurs. It tries to convince you that compromise is harmless, that disobedience can wait, that the urgency you feel is an exaggeration. But listen, the Spirit's tug on your heart is no exaggeration. It is the most real thing in this moment. You may not understand all the reasons, but you feel the pull, the holy unrest, the weight that will not leave you. That is mercy, refusing to let you go. Imagine a ship about to depart the harbor. The captain calls out. The anchor is lifted, and the sails are raised. A passenger on the dock hesitates, thinking, "I'll board later." But when the ropes are cut and the vessel moves out to sea, the chance is gone. The passenger may regret, may run along the shore, but the ship has already left. That is what hesitation does in the spiritual realm. The opportunity stands now, but it will not remain forever. Rebellion begins small. It whispers, "Just a little delay." Yet that little delay becomes a pattern. The pattern becomes hardness, and hardness becomes blindness. Soon, what was once clear becomes fog. What was once urgent becomes faint, and the voice of God, once close, feels distant. But here is the truth. Heaven does not expose rebellion to condemn you. Heaven exposes it to save you, to warn you before the soil is overtaken, before the ship sails away, before the heart hardens. Chosen one, you are loved too deeply to be left in delay. That is why this warning comes, not to shame, but to awaken, not to terrify, but to clarify. The whispers you've been hearing are not harmless. They are designed to steal your tomorrow by consuming your today. So pay attention to what stirs in your heart right now. That conviction you feel is not condemnation. It is invitation. It is God's way of saying, "I am not done with you. Do not waste this moment." End of chapter. The angels stand near, but they cannot choose for you. Heaven opens the door, but you must walk through. And the only thing that can close the door is a hardened heart that says, "Later." No, do not give rebellion that ground. Do not give delay that power. Let your yes be today, not tomorrow. The whisper of rebellion may try to keep you still, but the voice of the Spirit calls you forward, and once you step, the chains of hesitation break, and freedom becomes your portion. So rise against the whisper. Step into the clarity of obedience. For every moment you choose today over delay, heaven rejoices, and chains of hesitation fall silently behind you. There are signs all around you, and they have been speaking louder than words. At first you may have dismissed them as coincidence, as random happenings, but deep down you knew they were not ordinary. Heaven does not whisper without reason. Think back over your journey, the dreams that woke you in the night, so vivid you could not shake them, the sudden encounters with people who spoke life into you without even knowing your struggles, the scriptures that appeared before your eyes at just the right time. These are not accidents. They are signposts. The prophet Hosea recorded in chapter 12, verse 10, "I spoke to the prophets, gave them many visions and told parables through them." In other words, God has always communicated through layered signs, dreams, visions, parables, encounters, and He still does. Chosen one, the patterns you have seen are not random. They are threads woven by the hand of heaven, stitching together a story that points directly to you. Have you noticed how certain numbers repeat in your life? How specific phrases seem to follow you? How moments align with impossible timing? These are not tricks of chance, they are reminders. Heaven is signaling, pay attention. I am here. And think of a lighthouse on the coast. To sailors, The flash of its light is not random. It repeats at set intervals, guiding them home. If a sailor ignored it, they would drift into danger. But to the one who recognizes it, the flash becomes safety. That is what these signs are, guiding lights, leading you towards safety, away from destruction. Some signs came through pain, the relationship that ended suddenly, even though you thought you needed it. The opportunity that fell apart when you thought it was your breakthrough. At the time it felt like rejection, but later you realized it was redirection. Heaven was steering you away from traps you could not see. Others came through peace, the quiet nudge in your heart to pause when everyone else rushed, the calm assurance in your spirit when everything outside looked chaotic. That peace was not natural, it was supernatural, a sign that heaven was near. And then there are the dreams. You may have brushed them aside, but they return again and again. You see yourself crossing a river, climbing a mountain, standing in light while shadows fall away. These are not empty imaginations. They are messages in picture form, urging you to notice. Think of Joseph, who dreamed of sheaves bowing down and stars shining. Those images marked him. Even when misunderstood, his brothers mocked him, but heaven had planted those dreams as signs of his destiny. In the same way, your dreams have been seeds of revelation. Even if no one else understands them, signs also come through repetition. Perhaps you've seen the same phrase in books, online, even overheard in conversations. Words like rise, chosen, or light. That repetition is heaven underlining the message. You see, God knows the language of your heart. For some, it is pictures. For others, words. For others, music, or encounters, or even silence. But He speaks in ways you can understand, weaving reminders that you are not forgotten. The problem is not that signs are absent, it is that we often rush past them. Noise drowns them out. Doubt dismisses them. Fear explains them away. But when you slow down, when you look closely, the pattern emerges. Chosen one, you are living in a tapestry of signals, each thread pointing to one truth. Heaven has been pursuing you. Imagine standing in a forest. At first, all you see are random trees. But when you step back, you realize the trunks form a pathway. That is how the signs in your life work. Individually, they may seem disconnected, but together, they form a path leading you toward your calling. And here is the key. Signs are not the destination, they are the direction. They are not meant to be worshipped, but followed. A road sign pointing to a city is not the city itself. It simply confirms you are on the right road. In the same way, your signs are confirming heaven's nearness, guiding you forward. Do not be afraid to acknowledge them. Do not call them luck or random. Call them what they are, divine fingerprints on your story. And remember, signs are a mercy. God does not owe them to us, yet He gives them because He knows how easily we lose heart, how quickly we forget. The signs are His way of saying, I am still with you. Keep going. End of down. Chosen one. Lift your eyes. Pay attention. The patterns in your life are not meaningless. They are heaven's compass, pointing you home. Heaven's question stands before you, and it cannot be avoided. Will you answer now? This question is not shouted in anger. It is whispered in love. It comes not from a God who wants to trap you, but from a Father who longs to rescue you. Yet the weight of this question is eternal. All through your life, moments have circled back to this same point. Crossroads where you had to choose. Times when silence pressed on you, waiting for your response. Even now, the angels stand, holding back darkness, waiting for the answer your heart will give. The Word of God reminds us in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19, I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so you and your children may live. Notice the urgency. This day, not someday. Not when you feel more prepared today. Heaven does not delay its question, because eternity never waits. Chosen one. This is why you feel the tension in your spirit. You are standing on the edge of a decision that will shape not only your path, but also the lives of those connected to you. Your yes becomes a door that others may walk through. Your silence, too, has consequences. Imagine a traveler standing before two roads. One is wide, busy, crowded with noise and distraction. The other is narrow, quiet, and steep, but it leads upward toward light. The traveler cannot stay frozen forever. To stand still is to drift backward. A step must be made. That traveler is you. The crossroads is now, and the question lingers. Will you answer? Your answer does not need to be complicated. Heaven does not ask for eloquence. Heaven asks for sincerity. Even the simplest declaration can move eternity. So, here is what I ask of you. Comment these words. Today I choose. Why this phrase? Because it marks the end of hesitation. It is your way of saying, I will not delay anymore. I will not wait for a perfect moment. Today is the day I give my yes. When you write, today I choose, you are declaring that your decision belongs to this moment, not to an uncertain future. You are cutting ties with procrastination, with fear, with the lies that say you have more time. You are stepping into the urgency of grace. Think of a seed pressed into the soil. It does not wait for tomorrow's rain. It begins to sprout today, because life is in it. That is your declaration. It is the sprouting of life within you. Starting now, by writing today I choose. You are also reminding your own soul of its power. You are not powerless. You are not bound to cycles of delay. You are a being of choice, and your choice shakes eternity, and heaven takes it seriously. Angels record your words. The Spirit affirms your response. The Father smiles at your decision. What feels small to you is celebrated in the courts of heaven. Chosen one. This moment is holy ground. The question has been asked. The heavens lean close, and your words, simple, powerful, will echo far beyond today. Do not stay silent. Do not hesitate. Let your answer be clear. Let it be bold. Let it be now. Say it. Write it. Live it. Today I choose. And you may wonder, what happens after I choose? The truth is, the act of choosing does not instantly erase every storm in your life, but it does shift the authority over your story. Until now, hesitation has been in control, guiding you back and forth like a leaf in the wind. But when you say, today I choose, you remove hesitation's power. You step into alignment with heaven's timing. Imagine a locked door with a key lying in front of you. For years you've walked past the door, unsure if it really leads somewhere. But when you pick up the key and turn it, the door swings open and light floods in. That is what happens in the Spirit when you choose. Your declaration is not only for this moment, it sets the direction for your future. It marks the day you stopped drifting and started walking with purpose. It is a line drawn in the sand where you refuse to return to the old patterns of delay, and heaven honors it. The angels who have waited for your answer now surge forward, breaking through barriers, clearing away obstacles, and carrying you into the path already prepared. So let your words rise boldly. Write them, speak them, believe them. Today I choose. Your name has been spoken in fire. Heaven has not forgotten you. When you felt unseen, when you thought your prayers vanished into silence, the Lord called you by name. He did not whisper it once and move on. He engraved it upon his hands, written in a flame that cannot be erased. This is why the enemy has tried so fiercely to confuse your identity. If you doubt who you are, you will never walk into what belongs to you. Yet God has been patient, waiting for the right moment to remind you, you are His. The book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 1 declares, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine, chosen one." Your name carries weight in heaven. Angels respond when it is spoken. Demons tremble when it is claimed. And the fire of God surrounds it like a seal. Think of gold placed in a furnace. At first, it looks ordinary, even dull. But when exposed to fire, the impurities melt away, and the brilliance shines forth. That is you. Your trials have been the furnace. Your tears have been the heat. But your name has only grown brighter in the flames. Imagine a soldier standing on the battlefield. The roar of war surrounds him. But when his commander calls his name, he straightens his back and steps into position. That is what happens when God calls your name. You are reminded of who you are and why you are here. And do not miss this. Heaven is not only calling your name, it is also preparing your path. Angels move before you, not merely to protect, but to guide, ensuring the fire does not consume you, but refines you. Chosen one. Your name in the fire is proof you were never abandoned. You were being purified for greater things. Now let me pause here, because this is not only about you hearing it, is also about others hearing. The fire in your name is meant to light up paths for countless others who still wander in darkness. And for that flame to reach further, it requires vessels, channels, people willing to carry and spread the light. Think of a river. It does not drink its own water. It flows outward, nourishing fields and filling wells. In the same way, when you help this message flow, whether by keeping the stream open, by sharing it, or by sowing into it, you become part of the river that quenches thirsty souls. So let me speak gently and clearly. Picture a lamp in a window. To one traveler, it is a sign of home. To another, it is a lifeline on a stormy night. That is what happens when you choose to like, share, subscribe, or even sow a gift of support. It is not obligation, not pressure. It is the act of keeping the lamp lit so others who are still searching know they are not alone. Your choice in this is never demanded. It is always free, always voluntary. Yet every time someone lifts the lamp higher, more wanderers find their way back. Think of the widow in Scripture who placed 2 small coins into the temple treasury. It was not much by earthly standards, but in heaven's eyes, It was immeasurable. Why? Because it came from the heart. That is the same with every act of support here. It is not about the size. It is about the spirit behind it. So, if you feel the gentle stirring, follow it. If not, rest in knowing you are loved the same. The invitation is simply this: will you be part of lifting the flame higher, so that more names may be called out of fire into destiny? Your like is a small spark. Your share is a torch passed to another. Your subscription is a promise that you will walk this road with us. Your gift, no matter how small, is oil that keeps the lamp burning. None of it is forced. All of it is beautiful. Chosen one. Remember, your name in the fire is not a curse. It is the evidence of value. The flame has not destroyed you. It has revealed you. And now, heaven calls you forward, purified, strengthened, ready to carry light into places where darkness thought it had won. Lift your head. The fire has done its work. Your name shines. Your destiny waits. And angels surround you, ready to walk with you into what comes next. So, walk forward without fear. The fire has not marked you with shame, but with glory. What once tried to destroy you now testifies that you are chosen. Not every voice you have heard in your journey has been true. For as long as heaven has marked you, the enemy has sought to counterfeit what God has prepared. Where God offers peace, the enemy whispers distraction. Where God calls you into destiny, the enemy offers counterfeit crowns that look shiny but crumble in your hands. Chosen one, you have felt this pull. There were moments when what glittered before you seemed so convincing. A relationship that promised fulfillment but left you emptier. An opportunity that looked like promotion but drained your spirit. A comfort that dulled the pain but never healed the wound. These are not random. They are counterfeit offerings designed to keep you from your inheritance. The apostle warns us in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 14, and no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. The enemy does not often appear with horns and flames. He appears with imitation light, hoping to deceive you into settling for less. His greatest weapon is not obvious evil, but distorted good. Think of a traveler in the desert, parched and desperate. In the distance, they see shimmering water. They run toward it, only to find sand. A mirage. The thirst remains. The disappointment deepens. That is the nature of counterfeits. They promise refreshment, but deliver emptiness. You have encountered such mirages in your own life. Moments when what you thought would sustain you only left you craving more. The cycle of counterfeit always leads to hunger without satisfaction. But hear this. God has not left you blind. For every counterfeit, He provides discernment. For every false crown, He holds out the real one. And He allows you to walk through disappointments, not to shame you, but to teach your spirit to recognize truth. Chosen one. Your inheritance cannot be stolen, but it can be delayed if you keep chasing what is not real. That is why heaven warns you not to condemn, but to protect. Think of a child reaching for a toy crown made of plastic. It sparkles under the light, but it bends and breaks under pressure. Meanwhile, a true crown of gold waits, heavy with worth, enduring through fire. Which one will the child hold? Which one will you? Your destiny is too weighty to be satisfied with counterfeits. That is why they fall apart in your hands. Not because you are cursed, but because God refuses to let you settle. He has placed too much in you to allow plastic to replace gold. The false comforts of this world, temporary pleasures, empty distractions, shallow affirmations cannot compare with the depth of what heaven has written over you. You were made for more. That is why you feel restless when you try to live on counterfeits. That holy dissatisfaction is not a flaw, it is a compass pointing you home. Yes, the counterfeit will keep trying to call your name, but the Spirit has already placed within you the ability to discern. Pay attention to the fruit. If it drains your spirit instead of strengthening it, it is not from God. If it pulls you away from light instead of toward it, it is not your inheritance. Remember this, counterfeits always demand more and give less. God's gift may cost surrender, but they always return peace, joy, and freedom. So do not despise the seasons where false crowns fell away from your head. Rejoice that they did not stay. For every false thing removed makes room for the true glory awaiting you. Chosen one, the counterfeit has tried to deceive you, but it will not win. You were not created for sand and mirages. You were created for water that satisfies, for a crown that endures, for truth that cannot be shaken. And if you look back, you will see this clearly. The things that once felt like loss were actually protection. The doors that slammed shut were shields. The people who left, the opportunities that faded, the paths that collapsed, none of them were the true inheritance God prepared for you. It may have stung in the moment, but it saved you from years of wandering. Heaven loved you too much to let you waste yourself on counterfeits. Think of a pearl hidden inside an oyster. To the eye, the rough shell looks unattractive, even worthless. But within, beauty is forming. Many overlook it because they cannot see inside. In the same way, the treasure of your destiny is not in what is flashy, but in what is hidden, lasting, and real. Chosen one, let your heart be at rest. You are not behind. You are not empty-handed. You are simply being guarded until the right crown is placed upon your head. There comes a moment when silence must be broken, when destiny requires a visible response. Words matter. Yes, but sometimes even numbers carry weight. Throughout Scripture, numbers are not accidents, they are symbols. Prophetic markers of heaven's order woven into the fabric of creation. Chosen one, you are standing at such a moment now. Heaven is waiting not for perfection, but for agreement. The angels sent to guard you are not passive. They lean closer when your spirit declares, "Yes, I align." And one of the simplest ways to show this is through a prophetic act. Think of it this way, just as lifting your hand in battle signals to an army to advance, your response here signals heaven's hosts to move on your behalf. It is not empty ritual, it is alignment with heaven's rhythm. The book of James, chapter 4, verse 7 reminds us, "Submit yourselves, then, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." Submission is not only inward, it is outward, revealed in choices, in declarations, in symbols that proclaim your allegiance. So here is what I ask of you in this holy moment. Comment this, number 153. Why 153? Because it points back to the Gospel of John, chapter 21. When the disciples obeyed Jesus and cast their net again, they pulled up exactly 153 fish, so many that the net was overflowing. Yet it did not break. This was not just a catch of fish, it was a prophetic sign of abundance. of divine provision, of overflow that could only come from obedience. By writing 153, you are declaring, I step into the overflow. I will not live in lack. My obedience to God will bring provision beyond what I imagined, and my net will not break. Think of a well that has been dry for years. Suddenly, water bursts forth, filling it to the brim until it spills over. That is what happens when heaven's abundance touches your life. Overflow, increase, more than enough. When you write 153, you are aligning yourself with that story. You are saying, I believe that obedience brings provision. I believe that God can do immeasurably more than I have asked. I choose the net that does not tear, the blessing that does not fade, the abundance that overflows. And this declaration is not just for you. The disciples' catch fed many beyond themselves. Your choice to declare 153 becomes a ripple of abundance touching your family, your children, even strangers who will one day benefit from the overflow of grace on your life. Chosen one, do not underestimate the weight of this act. 153 is not just a number, it is your prophetic sign. It is heaven's reminder that obedience brings harvest, that surrender leads to increase, and that your story is destined for overflow. So let it be written, let it be spoken, let it be seen in your declaration. 153. Heaven receives it. Angels move because of it, and your story will never be the same. And perhaps you wonder, what does overflow really mean for me? I don't see abundance yet. I still feel the weight of lack. Oh, overflow does not begin in your hands. It begins in your heart. It begins the moment you agree with heaven that what God speaks is greater than what you see. The disciples did not pull up 153 fish because the sea was suddenly richer. That morning they pulled them up because they obeyed the voice of Jesus. The miracle was not in the water, it was in their obedience. That is the essence of this prophetic number. 153 is not just a reminder of provision, it is a reminder that obedience unlocks provision. When you yield your net, when you trust His instruction, you receive not scraps, but fullness. Imagine a cup under a waterfall. No matter how small the cup is, if it is placed in the right position, it cannot help but overflow. The issue is never the cup, it is the placement. Your declaration of 153 is you saying, I position my life under the waterfall of His word. And when you do, overflow becomes inevitable. This overflow touches more than finances. It brings peace where there was chaos, clarity where there was confusion, healing where there was brokenness. It is a lifestyle of more than enough in every area touched by His grace. Chosen one. Your declaration today is not about a number, it is about alignment. 153 is your reminder that what once looked empty can be filled to breaking, yet sustained. It is your assurance that God's supply will always exceed the demand. And when you walk in that reality, your life itself becomes a net of abundance that others can be gathered into. The rescue is not a story from far away. It is unfolding around you even now. The angels sent on assignment have not come to watch passively. They are engaged in battle, pulling you out of snares that were designed to keep you bound. You may not see it, but the war is real. Every time despair tried to swallow you, every time hopelessness whispered that you were finished, the angels stood their ground. They have wrestled with darkness on your behalf. cutting chains, redirecting attacks, holding back floods that were meant to drown you. The Word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 7, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them." And deliverance is not just escape. It is not barely slipping out of danger. It is a decisive act of heaven that places you beyond the reach of what once held you. That is what is happening right now. The angels are not only rescuing you, they are repositioning you. Imagine a bird caught in a net. It flaps. It struggles. It grows weary. But the cords tighten. Then a hand comes, cutting the ropes, lifting the fragile creature into open air. That is your soul. And heaven's hands are freeing you. Rescue is not always loud. Sometimes it happens in subtle ways. The sudden strength to say no to an old temptation. The unexpected peace in the middle of chaos. The mysterious way danger misses you without explanation. These are not coincidences. They are the quiet fingerprints of deliverance. Chosen one. Think back. How many times did you survive what others did not? How many situations should have left you broken? But somehow you stood again. Those were not accidents. Angels were near. The rescue has been unfolding for longer than you realize. And now the intensity of that rescue increases, because heaven knows the hour is short. The enemy has tightened his grip, but God has sent reinforcements to break it. You are not being left in the net, you are being carried into freedom. Think of a prisoner locked in a dark cell. The chains are heavy. The walls are high. Suddenly, the door swings open, and light floods in. Guards fall asleep. Locks break, and the captive walks out into a new dawn. That picture is yours. You are stepping into a dawn you could not have created for yourself. This is not only about what you are being pulled from, it is also about what you are being pulled into. Rescue always leads somewhere. Israel was not only freed from Egypt, they were led toward the promised land. You are not only escaping the grip of the enemy, you are being led toward purpose, destiny, and promise. Chosen one. Let your heart rest in this. The angels do not fail their assignments. What God has dispatched them to do, they will accomplish. You may feel the shaking. You may sense the struggle. But the end is already determined. Deliverance belongs to you. And though the battle rages, your role is not to fight in your own strength. Your role is to trust, to believe, to allow yourself to be carried. The bird does not cut its own net. The prisoner does not break his own chains. The hand of heaven does. So breathe. The rescue is unfolding even as you read these words. The chains are loosening. The darkness is retreating. And the path is opening. You are not abandoned in the struggle. You are the focus of heaven's mission. Chosen one. Your story is not ending in captivity. The angels have been sent, and they will not stop until you stand in the place of freedom prepared for you. And when that freedom comes, it will not creep in quietly. It will arrive like dawn breaking after the longest night. You will look around and realize the things that once chained you no longer have power. The fears that stalked you will seem small. The addictions that tried to hold you will feel broken. The shame that haunted you will lose its voice. It is like standing in a burning house and suddenly being carried out into open air. The smoke clears. The lungs fill with breath, and the fire is behind you. That is what the angels are doing now, pulling you from the blaze into safety. Chosen one. Do not be afraid. The rescue is real. The deliverance is certain. And the dawn of your new chapter is closer than you think. Hold steady. The angels are already carrying you into freedom. There is a weight that settles on those who are chosen, a weight not of despair, but of responsibility. To be marked by heaven means your life cannot follow the ordinary flow. You are called to carry something that others may never understand. This weight explains why your path has often felt lonely. Friends may not have seen the battles you fought. Family may not have understood why you could not settle for less. People around you may have questioned your intensity, wondering why you carry yourself differently. Yet the truth is simple. You were chosen for more, and heaven has required much of you. The Word of God declares in the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 48, "From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded, and from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked." Then, chosen one, you have been entrusted. That is why your battles were fiercer, your valleys deeper, your nights longer. Not because you are weaker, but because the oil produced in your life had to be costly. Think of a tree that grows tall and strong. It did not sprout overnight. Its roots dug deep through years of storms, winds, and droughts. Each challenge forced the roots lower, anchoring it in unseen places. Now, when storms come again, it does not topple. In the same way, your trials have anchored you. The unseen battles have given you depth that cannot be stolen. The loneliness you felt was not rejection, it was preparation. God was separating you from voices that would have distracted you. He was pruning away branches that bore no fruit. It hurt, yes, but the pruning was necessary for the harvest that is coming. Chosen one, never despise the hidden seasons. The cocoon looks like death to the caterpillar, yet within it wings are forming. What feels like isolation is transformation. You are not buried, you are planted. And those tears you cried in silence, they were not ignored. Each one has been collected in heaven's bottle, stored as testimony of your perseverance. The book of Psalms, chapter 56, verse 8 tells us that God records every tear, every wandering. That means not a single moment of your struggle has slipped through His sight. Now, the weight you carry becomes your testimony. Others will find strength because of the valleys you walked. Others will see light because of the darkness you endured. The responsibility of being chosen is not only for your benefit, it is for those who will follow the trail you leave behind. Imagine a traveler climbing a steep mountain. His feet bleed. His body aches. But he presses upward. Later, when others attempt the same climb, they find the marks of his footsteps in the stone, guiding them where to step. That is you. Your scars have become a map for others. Chosen one. Understand this. You are not just surviving your story, you are shaping a path for others to follow. That is why the weight has felt unbearable at times, because it was never only about you. Your obedience, your endurance, your faith will ripple through generations. The angels who rescued you have not finished their work. They now surround you as guardians of destiny, ensuring that the investment of heaven over your life comes to fullness. You are being raised, not just as a survivor, but as a leader, someone who will carry light into places where others are afraid to go. This is the responsibility of being chosen. It is heavy, yes, but it is also glorious. The fire you walked through has made you strong. The valleys you endured have made you wise. The battles you fought have made you dangerous to darkness. Do not shrink back from this weight. Embrace it as evidence that heaven trusts you. For if God did not believe you could bear it, He would not have placed it on your shoulders. Chosen one, lift your head. What you carry is precious. What you bear is eternal. And though the weight feels great, the glory to be revealed through you will be greater still. And remember this, the crown prepared for you is not made of earthly jewels that fade, but of eternal glory that cannot be stolen. Every step you take under the weight is adding brilliance to that crown. Think of a runner nearing the finish line. Muskelsash, lungspurn. But the roar of the crowd gives strength for the final stretch. In the same way, heaven cheers you on, reminding you that the finish is worth every struggle. Chosen one, the weight you carry is proof of the crown you will wear. There comes a point when hiding is no longer possible. Light does not ask permission to shine, it simply breaks through. And now, after the seasons of silence, the years of pressing, the battles fought in secret, you are called to stand in the open light. Chosen one, this is not about performance. It is about presence. You are not asked to wear a mask or to prove your worth. You are simply asked to stand where heaven has placed you and allow the light of God to flow through you. The apostle writes in the letter to the Philippians, chapter 2, verse 15, "Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky." You cannot remain hidden forever. The crown prepared for you is not for private rooms alone, it is for public witness. Not so that you may be exalted, but so that God may be glorified through you. Think of a lantern set high on a hill. Its flame is small, yet it carries far, guiding weary travelers who would otherwise stumble. That is what your life becomes when you step fully into the open. You are a landmark of hope for others still lost in darkness. But here is the beauty. This light multiplies when others choose to tend it. A lantern burns brighter when oil is poured in, when wicks are trimmed, when windows are cleared. In the same way, what heaven has begun here grows stronger as more hearts join in keeping the flame alive. Let me speak gently. Imagine a fire in the cold of night. One log burns, but only for a while. Add another, and the flame grows steadier. Add more, and soon the fire becomes a blaze, warming everyone around. That is what happens when you choose to like, share, subscribe, comment, or even sow a gift of support. It is not obligation. It is not demanded. It is the simple beauty of adding your log to the fire, ensuring the warmth reaches further. Your act is never small. A single spark lights up a room. A single echo can awaken a valley. A single drop of water can ripple across a lake. What you give, whether attention, response, or support, becomes part of the great chorus of light. And know this, it is always voluntary. Heaven never forces. Heaven only invites. Just as Christ said, "Freely you have received, freely give." So too is every act of joining in an act of freedom, not compulsion. So, if your heart stirs, let it be natural. Pressing like is like whispering, "I see the light." Sharing is like passing the torch so another can find their way. Subscribing is like saying, "I will walk this road with you." Commenting is like adding your voice to the fire, letting heaven hear your agreement. And giving is like pouring oil into the lamp, so it never flickers out. All of it is beautiful when it is chosen, and all of it is sacred when it is offered freely. Chosen one, you were never meant to hide. Your scars are not stains, they are stars in the night sky. Proof of battles survived and victories won. And when you step into the open, you show others what is possible when heaven intervenes. Think of a bridge lit up at night. Each light might seem small, but together they reveal the path across waters that once seemed impossible to cross. That is what happens when we choose to stand in the open light, not only for ourselves, but for others to follow. You are not alone on this journey. Every flame added to the fire, every light shining on the bridge, every voice rising with yours becomes part of a greater movement of hope. So, stand tall. Let your light be seen. Step into the open, not with fear, but with freedom. The angels who rescued you now walk beside you as you carry that flame forward. The night cannot overcome what burns within you, and the world, though dark, is waiting for the light you carry. And when you shine, it will not be a timid flicker, but a steady blaze. The same God who lit the stars in the heavens has lit something inside of you, and no wind can extinguish it. Chosen one, walk boldly into this new chapter. Every act of faith you make becomes fuel for the flame. Every word of truth you speak is another star appearing in the night sky. And soon, what once felt like deep darkness will be transformed into a horizon filled with light because you chose to burn brightly for Him. Every story of the chosen has one common thread: transformation. Not just the rescue, not just the calling, but the deep, inner change that reshapes a person from the inside out. It is never sudden, though it may begin in a moment. Transformation is the steady work of heaven, chiseling away what is false, uncovering what is true, and shaping you into the vessel that can carry destiny. Chosen one, you are walking through such a transformation. It has been painful at times, confusing at others, yet every cut of the chisel has been purposeful. You are not being broken, you are being formed. The Word of God reminds us in the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve God's good, pleasing and perfect will." Transformation is not about behaving better, it is about becoming new. It is not about polishing the surface, it is about rewriting the very patterns of thought, heart, and spirit within you. Think of a potter at his wheel. He takes clay, soft and shapeless, and spins it under his hands. At first, it is rough, lopsided, uneven, but with each turn, with each careful pressure, the clay begins to rise into form. Sometimes the potter presses harder, sometimes he gently smooths, but always he has the finished vessel in mind. That is what God has been doing with you. There were times when you felt pressed beyond measure, times when the spinning of life felt dizzying, relentless, but all along, His hands were steady, shaping you. Not one turn of the wheel has been wasted. Chosen one, transformation is rarely visible in the moment. It feels like nothing is happening, or worse, like everything is falling apart. But look closer. The very storms that battered you taught you endurance. The very tears that fell carved out deeper compassion in your heart. The very delays that frustrated you stretched your patience and strengthened your faith. These are not signs of stagnation, they are proof of transformation. Imagine a caterpillar in its cocoon. To the outside eye, it looks still, lifeless, but inside, Every cell is changing. The creature that once crawled will soon fly. That is what heaven has been doing within you, though others may not see it. You are being remade. Transformation also requires letting go. Old identities, false labels, wounds that once defined you, they cannot follow you into the new. That is why certain chapters closed, why some relationships faded, why old ways no longer satisfy. It was not punishment, it was preparation. Chosen one. Do not cling to the cocoon when wings are waiting. Do not grieve the clay's roughness when the potter's hands are still working. Your transformation is not yet complete, but it is certain, and when it is revealed, it will astonish even you. You will see strength where you once saw weakness, beauty where you once saw scars, wisdom where you once saw confusion. The mark of transformation is not that you never suffered, but that suffering no longer defines you. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, imprisoned unjustly. Each stage was a chisel, a spin of the wheel, a cocoon, and when the time came, he stood as a ruler, transformed not only in position but in heart. He could say to his brothers, "You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." That is the voice of transformation, seeing redemption in what once looked like ruin. So let patience have its perfect work. The process may feel slow, but the result will be eternal. Heaven is not rushed, but it is thorough. Chosen one. Transformation is the signature of the chosen. You are not who you were, and you will not remain who you are. You are becoming who heaven designed you to be. And soon, when the unveiling comes, the world will see what God has been forming all along. And when that unveiling comes, it will not be subtle. It will be as undeniable as dawn breaking over a dark horizon. People who once doubted you will stand in awe. Even you will marvel at the reflection staring back from the mirror, realizing that the journey shaped you into someone unrecognizable to your former self. Chosen one. Every hidden battle, every chaos surrender, every unseen tear has contributed to this becoming. You are not merely surviving, you are emerging. And when heaven's timing announces, "Now," your transformation will not just bless you, it will awaken faith in those who witness it. You are the proof that God makes all things new. There is a finishing grace that rests upon you now. The journey has been long, the battles unrelenting, but you have not walked in vain. Every step has been recorded, every cry has been heard, and every moment has been woven into a story far greater than you can yet see. Chosen one. You stand at the threshold of fulfillment. What began with uncertainty is ending in clarity. What once felt like chaos is revealing its pattern. Heaven is not random, it is intentional. And your life has been carefully threaded into a design of glory. The Word of God declares in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8, "See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." This is where you are now, before an open door. Not one forced by your striving bit, not one manipulated by human effort, but one that heaven itself has unlocked. And when heaven opens a door, no force of hell, no opposition of man, no weakness in you can close it. Think of a runner nearing the end of the race. Muscles ache, long spurn. But the roar of the finish line gives new strength. That is you. The endurance built in the hidden years is carrying you into the final stretch. and the prize is nearer than you realize. Chosen one, the crown is not far off. The angels who walked with you through valleys are now walking with you into glory. They have not only fought for your survival, they are now celebrating your arrival. Do not despise the weight you carried to reach this point. For every burden lifted, every battle fought, every scar endured has become part of the testimony you now wear. These marks are not blemishes, they are medals of honor. Proof that you did not surrender to the darkness. Think of a soldier returning from war. His uniform may be torn, his face marked, but in his eyes burns the fire of one who endured. That is you, chosen one. The fire in your eyes is proof that you finished what was set before you. And this is not the end. It is the transition into glory. Earthly journeys close. But éternel, assignement begin. The door before you is not just an escape from the past. It is an entrance into a realm where purpose meets eternity. Chosen one, lift your eyes. The story you lived is not only for yourself. It becomes a beacon for those who come after you. Just as the patriarchs of faith carried their torches and passed them forward, so too your endurance lights the path for others. You are part of a great procession, a line of chosen ones, stretching back through time, each carrying light through their generation. Now, it is your turn to lift the flame high, to step through the door prepared, and to hear heaven's voice declare, "Well done." So breathe deeply. This is not the breath of weariness, but of arrival. This is the moment where the storm gives way to stillness. The night gives way to dawn. The race gives way to the prize. Chosen one, the open door stands before you. Step forward. Do not look back. The past has been redeemed. The present is secured. And the future awaits in the hands of the one who chose you from the beginning. The journey is complete. Yet the story is only beginning. And in that new beginning, you will see why every delay mattered, why every detour was necessary, why every wound was allowed. What once felt like fragments will fit together as pieces of a perfect mosaic. The brokenness you carried will shine like stained glass, light passing through it to reveal beauty that could not have existed without the cracks. Chosen one, eternity does not erase your story. It fulfills it. The laughter, the tears, the scars, the triumphs, all are gathered up and woven into a crown only you can wear. And that crown is not just a symbol of what you endured, it is a testimony of what heaven has accomplished through you. Think of a book placed on a shelf, its final chapter written, its story complete. Yet each time it is opened, the words inspire, comfort, and ignite. That will be your life, even when you step through eternity's door. Your story will still speak, so walk through with courage. For what awaits is not silence, but song, not emptiness, but fullness, not ending, but everlasting beginning. You are the chosen one, and heaven has made your journey eternal. And now, the journey of this message closes, but the work of heaven in your life continues. You have walked through valleys of struggle, stood in storms of resistance, and yet here you are still standing, still chosen, still shining. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a new chapter where your destiny comes alive. Chosen one, the words you have heard are not chance. They are seeds planted deep in your heart. and heaven will water them until they grow into the fullness of your calling. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are marked, protected, and carried by the hands of the one who never lets go. And while you step forward, let me speak gently, with no demand, only invitation. Imagine a cold shoreline at night. One lantern glows faintly on the pier, hardly enough to guide the ships. But as more lamps are lit, the harbor becomes a beacon of safety, a map of light across the sea. That is what happens when you choose to like, share, subscribe, comment, or even sow a gift of support. It is not about numbers, it is about turning a single flame into a lighthouse, so that countless others adrift on dark waters may find their way home. Your response is not small. It is a spark added to the fire, a ripple added to the tide, a star added to the sky. None of it is required. All of it is beautiful when freely chosen. So carry this flame. Carry it with your life, your words, your choices. Let your story shine so others may see hope through you. The night is dark, but you are not powerless. You are the light set on a hill, chosen one. Heaven is with you. The angels surround you, and the journey of glory has only just begun.